So that was it, picking up from Noom, and the wonderful Noom experience. What I learned doing Noom was that there were a lot of people like me who really rather enjoyed a glass of wine or several. And so I was introduced to the sober curious Noomers. And this was quite enlightening because I hadn't really got a problem with food. I'm celiac and I ate mostly a paleo diet. What I discovered was I enjoy a bit too much cheese and a bit too much oil, but a lot too much wine. So this did create a sober curious Noomer. So I went there and there were some books recommended. One was This Naked Mind by Annie Grace, which I read. And wow, I was surprised. I did not actually know about alcohol. Even though I'd been drinking it for years, I didn't realise consciously how culturally programmed we are. I mean, I can't remember just how young I was, very young, introduced to wine. It was always wine and lemonade with Sunday lunch. I was under 10 for sure. And it was just so normal, and all the phrases there are, oh, you deserve a drink, you know, put your feet up, have a drink, all of these sayings that are just intertwined in our life. When your attention is brought to all of the cultural conditioning about alcohol drinking, there's so much of it. Wow. But I didn't know that alcohol, in whichever form, is a known carcinogen. I didn't know that. And so it doesn't matter how much you drink, you are taking on a carcinogenic poison. Wow. I didn't like to hear that. Also, when you're drinking, your chance of a stroke is increased by 36%. That's massive. Apparently it makes your heart go more elasticy because it's all chilled out, as your whole body is. And because your heart is more elastic, blood pools differently, and then it can create clots and therefore a stroke. But amongst other things, about the damage that drinking alcohol does, short term and long term. So I was aware for me that September, the month that we're in, was going to be a challenging month because it's not just this anniversary, it's also been the anniversary of my mum's death and some other sad anniversaries in this month. And I thought, if Annie Grace does this thing called the alcohol experiment, which I'd learnt about in reading her book, and that hole's getting bigger. Another job for after this. But anyway, so the alcohol experiment is what I'm doing, and it's basically a series of videos and information throughout every day of September, and you sign up for say I won't have alcohol in September. It's day 20, actually 21, because I started a day early after drinking 5 nights in a row, because I was like, September is coming, I might never drink again. Well, there really was no need, because it hasn't been a challenge. Given what I know now, given that I know how harmful alcohol can be to my system, to my temple, I've been saying to myself, yeah, you can have a drink, but actually saying, oh, the dirt's coming my way now, Lily, saying, yeah, to myself that I can have a drink, but actually I don't want to drink. I've also discovered kombucha. I've got a supermarket delivery showing up this afternoon, which mostly comprises of every single flavour of kombucha, as I see which ones I like. But yeah, it's fermented tea, I believe, and does quite a good job of mimicking a cider or something, but it's nice. And also I've learnt that things which are fermented are good for your gut, so double win. So this year has been amazing with silver linings, and who would have thought, from something that brought me to being on my face in the dirt, wanting to be dead, to a place where I've learnt so much. 12 months later, I have learnt so much about life, and I've been around a while. You'd have thought I might have learnt some things from all the other traumas, but honestly, the things that transpired from this trauma that happened on the 20th of September 2020 has to have been one of the most painful, right up there, heartbreaking events. And when those things happen, you have to choose, do I live or do I die? And that really was a very real choice for me. It was as though everything I'd worked towards in creating a wonderful family had just been shattered into a zillion pieces. And I was left thinking, why did I invest 200% of all I had, my body, my mind, my soul, for almost 3 decades? Why have I done this? Only to be kicked in the guts as thanks. I should have had a career. I should have this, I should have that, but hey, shoulda, woulda, couldas. It's not relevant. What we must do is focus on now. And I must say, now is absolutely beautiful. And I'm, in many ways, some ways, not many ways, I'm grateful for the horrors that have happened throughout my life, because they have made me stronger. They have made me more resilient. They have tested my grit and my determination, and they have allowed me to live in a much more unfurled way than I ever could if I had not had these things happen to me. What's the saying? Without true pain, you can't know true freedom. Without true hurt and sadness, you're never going to know true joy. So that is wonderful. So if you happen to be watching this, anybody involved in some of the horrors which have happened to me, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. And well, I'd like to wish you well, but I can't. I'm not quite there yet. I think you're repugnant, but that's another story, and I'll work on that one. I'm supposed to be able to send you away in a bubble of light and love, aren't you? Aren't I? So yeah, if anyone's watching this that can help me to pack that up in a bubble of light and love, that might be quite nice. But like I say, it's only the first anniversary and I have grown tenfold. And the authenticity of being Catherine is just beautiful. And I'm content to have natural hair, natural eyebrows. Can you see them? They're a little bit non-existent, but they're natural. Yeah, just a bit of lippy and a whole lot of love, which is bigger now because I know what the hate feels like. Anyway, I am wishing you lots of silver linings to all the bad stuff that might happen to you. Well, that inevitably will happen to you. If it hasn't yet, it probably will. But make sure you look out for your silver linings. Until next time.